If you're a vocalist at a church, this video is for you. If you're a worship leader or a sound tech, then just make sure that your vocalist see this video. We're talking about how vocalists can give the sound tech the best possible source material to create a great mix, because great sound starts at the source. Have you ever watched a movie at home and found yourself constantly adjusting the volume? One minute you can't hear the dialogue, and the next it feels like you're shaking the walls. That's exactly what it feels like for a sound tech when a vocalist doesn't sing with consistent volume. If you're constantly switching between super soft and super loud, it makes it really difficult for the sound tech to keep you balanced in the mix. You either disappear or come in way too hot. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't use dynamics, because you definitely should, but your volume still needs to make sense within the context of the band. Don't be belting when the band is playing soft and delicate, and don't disappear when they're building energy. At the same time, you need to always move a good amount of air when you sing. Microphones need that airflow to create a strong signal. When your signal hits the mixer, the sound tech sets something called gain. Gain adjusts your signal to the right level before it gets mixed with everything else. And this is a critical part of the process. Here's the catch. The more gain that the sound tech has to add, the more background hiss and stage noise gets picked up, like the drums or even the sound coming from your speakers. That's why it's so important to give them a strong signal from the start. Let the sound tech do the majority of your volume adjustment with the fader. Gain gives them the maximum amount of volume that they have to work with, and then the volume fader is where they adjust how you're sitting in the mix. Your job is to give them a consistent, strong signal, and then let them adjust as needed. But don't push volume from your throat. Instead, use your chest and focus on moving air. Not only will this give a stronger signal, but it will also improve your tone. This takes intentional practice and vocal exercises. If you don't work on it regularly, you won't build the power that you need. Let me show you some examples. So I'm going to show you what this looks like from the perspective of the sound guy. So here is my channel right here. And those lights, those green lights, are going to be my gain. Now, as I'm talking, the gain is not hitting as high as it needs to, because this is not set for my talking voice, it's set for my singing voice, which is obviously going to be louder. You don't really need to know the details of this, but basically the sound guy is trying to get everybody's gain to be hitting the first set of orange lights. Sometimes it'll go a little bit more than that, sometimes it'll be a little bit less, but on average, it needs to be hitting those first set of orange lights. So let me show you when I'm singing out what that looks like. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise. We pour out our praise, it's your breath. See, it did go over the first set a little bit into the second one, and that's okay. That's a pretty good, strong gain level. Now, let me show you if I was just casually singing. I'm not really putting much effort into it, kind of like I was just singing in my kitchen. This is what it would look like. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise. We pour out our praise. You see, I'm not hitting that first set of orange lights like that. That was just really casual singing. I'm not putting any effort into it. So what I would have to do is raise the gain to do that. So let me do that. I'm going to raise the gain to see if I can get it to where that level of singing is hitting the first set of orange lights. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise. All right, now I have the gain cranked almost as high as it will go on the mixer. That's about as much as it's willing to give me. And if there was drums playing behind me, which there would be on Sunday, you'd be hearing that. And you'd also be hearing the PA speakers echoing in the room. Like, there's going to be a lot of extra noise coming in, and we don't want that. Ideally, we want that gain number to go down as low as it can. We don't want to introduce any extra noise that we don't have to. Now let's revisit dynamics. You can and should still use them, but always give the microphone a strong signal even in the quieter moments. Especially during the big parts of a song, your sound tech needs you to deliver. They can't ride your gain knob throughout the song, so give them consistency. One more thing, make sure you're singing with the same energy during rehearsal as you do during the service. Don't pull back when they're trying to get the mix dialed in at rehearsal. Consistency is everything. These tips will help your sound tech give you a better mix and make you sound better in the process. Everybody wins. Let's cover one more topic that will help you send a strong, clean signal to the board: mic placement. This can be a touchy subject. Some people have strong opinions about distance, and others just feel awkward getting the mic really close. Here's our recommendation. Keep the mic no more than 3 inches from your mouth. Any further and your sound tech has to crank the gain, which brings in hiss, stage noise, and increases the chance of feedback. This isn't optional. If you want to sound great, your mic needs to stay close. Otherwise, not only will you sound worse, but you'll also introduce noise and chaos into the mix. And consistency matters just as much here too. If you're constantly changing the distance, your volume will be all over the place, creating the same problem that we talked about earlier. Let me show you a quick before and after of proper mic placement. This is a really awkward angle. Sorry, I forgot my tripod when I came up here to shoot this B-roll, but it should still get the point across. So here we are. I usually am about this close, like right from my lips touching the microphone. And you can probably tell you're hearing some and you're hearing some breath sounds. When you're hearing this with the band, you're not going to notice that. But what you are going to notice is that I'm sending the mixer a really strong signal and I'm rejecting a lot of what's around my microphone because of this. So it's a clean signal as well. So here's the ideal. You don't want to get really any further than this right here, about 3 inches. You don't need to get a tape measure out and measure it, but that should be a pretty good visual. Now, what you also don't want to do is do 3 inches away from your mouth. You can probably already tell this sounds quite a bit different. I'm projecting over the microphone. This is not ideal. You're going to lose a lot of body in your voice, and you're going to lose some volume as well. So make sure you're 3 inches from your mouth, in front of your mouth. Now, some mic positioning that I'll see a lot is down at the chest. I'm not adjusting my gain for this right now, and you can tell probably how much quieter it is. And also it's losing a lot of body, and it's going to be bringing a lot of outside noise into the microphone, because look how open it is to just receive anything. And again, let me go, and I will increase the gain on my microphone to get this level up where it needs to be, and it's probably not sounding that great. So here's a really quick audio example of what it would sound like even when I'm singing out and I'm giving a good vocal presence, how much worse it's going to sound if I don't have the microphone close. So here's Far Away. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise. We pour out our praise, it's your breath. Now let's do it right. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise. We pour out our praise. This is going to introduce some more, and I was trying to be a little bit conscious of not doing that with my P sounds, because, you know, the song Great Are You Lord, it's got a lot of those noises in it. So you just need to be a little bit more conscious when you're holding the microphone this close, not to more than you need to. And you'll get the hang of it as time goes on. One more time, here's the difference with bad mic placement and good mic placement. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise. We pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise. We pour out our praise. And again, I'm not here with a full band. This would be an even more dramatic example if I was here with a band and I was holding the microphone this far away. You wouldn't believe the amount of extra drums you would be hearing in my microphone and the amount of extra room noise you would be hearing. One common objection to the 3-inch rule is that it can cause more breath noise and plosive pops due to the close proximity. And that's true, but getting a clean, strong signal is far more important. In the context of a full mix, you won't notice the proximity effect much, and the sound tech should have a low-cut filter on your mic, which will help reduce any extra rumble or pops. One more thing, if you've been trained to pull off the mic for powerful moments, that's fine. Just remember, it only works if you do it consistently and your sound tech expects it. Random movements make it harder to mix. You also don't need to move it very far. Your sound tech should be adding something called compression, which helps tame those extra loud notes. If you're not confident in how to use this technique properly, I'd recommend avoiding it and letting the compression do its job. It's also worth mentioning that your monitor mix will benefit from all of these tips as well. You'll be able to hear yourself more clearly and consistently, whether you're using in-ears or floor wedges. When it comes to creating great sound for your congregation to engage with, it's a team effort. Your sound tech can't make a bad source sound great. So set aside your preferences and use the techniques we talked about in this video. I promise the results will speak for themselves. All right, now it's your turn. If you take these tips to heart and work on them each week, you'll make your sound tech's job so much easier and your mix will improve dramatically. I've also linked some vocal exercise videos to help you develop more power and stamina in the description. So get out there and do it all for God's glory.